Welcome back to Mrs. Bailey's Math MBM. Please subscribe below. Um, we are on number 8. Number 8, y'all. So, for number 8, A, we have find where h of x is less than or equal to 0. When we say h of x, excellent, we are referring to our y. So when is the y less than or equal to 0? Are we looking above or below? Below. Excellent. Are we including the zeros? Yes. Wow, because we got that equal sign under that inequality. All right. So in order for us to find the y-values that is less than 0, and we are including the zeros, it would be from -3 to 4. That's it. Yeah. Yes. Because it actually equaled that -3 and that 4. All right, for the next one, find where h of x is greater than 0. Are we including 0? No. So we are dealing with brackets or parentheses? Parentheses. Greater than 0, above or below? Above. All right. So from the left to right, tell me, what do I have? This is coming from negative infinity to what kind of? What kind of 3? -3. So negative infinity to -3 and union excellent, +4 to infinity. Any questions? Oof, now the long ones. Let me get room for this. All right, now, on this next one, this is going to be pretty long. Solve the following inequalities. Write your answer in interval notation. All right. First, we have this equation, or this inequality. Can someone tell me, what is our zeros? -4, +3, and -1. -4 here, the +3 here. And -1. All right, now we need to put it on our number line from least to greatest. Excellent. -4, -1, 3. All right. And we could actually base this off of what we know about polynomials. What is the degree of this polynomial? 3. That tells me that the degree is opposite, which is odd. The degree is odd, so it's going to be opposite sides for our end behavior. How about the leading coefficient? Positive. So because the leading coefficient is positive, on this side, this will go up. Because the degree is odd, this side will go down. Leading coefficient will be the highest, the number in front of the highest degree. So it will be based off of x, this positive x, this positive x, and positive x, and anything positive times positive, positive, positive. All right, now let's look at multiplicity. At the -4, what's the multiplicity there? 1. So it went through or bounced? Went through. So that will give me opposite here. All right, how about at -1? Multiplicity is 1. Did it go through or bounce? Went through. So it goes opposite here. All right. Now I have labels for my number line, and I need to now identify parts that is greater than or equal to 0. So I'm only looking at the plus or the negatives. Plus, greater than or equal to 0. And that is between, and I'm sorry, are we including our zeros? Yes. So since we are including our zeros, will I be dealing with, I will be dealing with a what? Bracket. All right. So from -4 comma -1 bracket union bracket 3 to infinity, and infinity will always be parentheses. Any questions on that?
Can you just explain overall why start from -4 and 1 u to 3 infinity?
-4, 1, 3 to infinity? Okay. Because of the inequality here, it says this polynomial is greater than 0. So if it's greater than 0, I'm only looking at the ones that has the positives. And the positive is in the interval of -4 to -1. And from 3, and it goes up to infinity.
Why is it negative from -1 to 3?
Because this is negative. We ended up, remember when we talked about multiplicity? Since all of these have the multiplicity of 1, we already figured out, because this degree is odd, that the ends would be opposite.
Okay.
And then we figured out that the leading coefficient would be positive, so we found out that this would be positive on this side, negative on this side.
Where -1 is the shift down. Okay.
So it's no bouncing, we're just alternating, because it's going straight through, up, straight through. Any questions on this? Good question, Davian. All right. Next, we have this equation. First, what are my zeros? Excellent. -2, 1, and 5. All right. So I'm going to put it on my number line. We're doing things the same way each and every time. All right. We got to put it in order from least to greatest. So it goes -2, 1, and 5. What degree is this? 3. So that is a odd. So that tells me what about the end behavior? Opposite. Leading coefficient, we have to include that -3. So that -3 times a positive is a negative, times a positive is a negative, times a positive is a negative. So the leading coefficient is negative. So on the right side, it's going down. And on the left side is going up. Excellent. Now let's look at the multiplicity. Multiplicity of negative 2 is 1. So if this is plus, this one will be negative. All right. The multiplicity of 1 is 1. So if this is negative, this would be positive. All right. Let's make it faster. Then all we're looking for is the polynomial that is what? Less than 0. Are we including zeros? No. So we should not have, yes, we should not have a bracket. I said we're talking about less than 0, and we are not including zeros, so we should not have a bracket. And this is less than 0. We're talking about the negatives, so that is from what interval? Negative 2 to 1. Union. 5 to infinity. Any questions?
Can you explain how you got which side is negative and which side is positive?
Yes. I had to figure out what the leading coefficient is from. Are you talking about from the negative 3 right here? I had to figure out what the leading coefficient is, and because these are all factored, that negative 3 is going to end up being multiplied by all these positive x's. So that negative 3 times a positive is a negative, times a positive is a negative, times a positive is a negative. Great question. Anyone else have any questions? Nope? All right. Moving right along. We're on number 11. Ooh, this one, the multiplicity changed. Ooh, this looks fun. Oh, sorry. Let's first get our zeros. We have a 0 at 5 and excellent. 5, negative 2, and 3. Now we're going to put it on the number line in order from least to greatest. So that would be negative 2, 3, and 5. Now we need to figure out what the leading coefficient is. Is the leading coefficient positive or negative? Positive. Excellent. What is the degree? 4. So that means that the degree is even, and that tells me what about the end behavior? Both going up, same direction. Because it's even, they same direction. Because the leading coefficient is positive, they're both going up. Now let's look at the multiplicity. That's where it came back. Starting at the negative 2. That negative 2, the multiplicity is 1. So if this is positive, this will be negative. Now if we look at the 3, the multiplicity is 1. So if this is negative, this will be positive. Look at that. And then we go to positive 5, which is the multiplicity is, so it ended up bouncing. You see? Yeah, plus plus. So now let's look at the inequality. Because the degree is 4, but this degree is 2, 1, and 1 to 4. And we're looking for the values that is or 0. So less than or equal to 0, we could use what? Brackets. We're talking about less than, so we're only looking at the negative. All right? And we also including the 0, so let's not forget that either. All right, so we're talking about the negatives and we're including our zeros, so that is bracket -2, comma 3. And the 0 at
Oh, at 5.
at 5. Oh, well, yeah. Union.
Why would you want one at 5?
Yeah.
Because when it bounces, it hits 0.
Mm-hmm. And that means it's included. Any questions on this one? All right. Let's get our zeros first. What zeros do we have on number 12? -5, -1, and 6, and 0. Because this 4x equal to 0, give me a 0. All right, now let's put it on our number line from least to greatest. -5, -1, 0, and 6. Now let's look at what is the degree. Make sure you read all of the exponents. So this one is 2. This one is 1. So that's 3 plus 2, 5. And how about this one?
1.
So that is a total of 6 degrees. The degree is 6. So it's an even degree. Now let's look at the leading coefficient. The leading coefficient is
Even.
not even or odd, but we're looking about positive. So since the degree is 6, which is even, and the leading coefficient is positive, what happens at both ends?
Positive.
Both ends are positive. Excellent. Now let's go through with multiplicity. For the -5, what was the multiplicity? 2. So it did what? So if this is plus, this would be plus. All right, the -1, multiplicity. So it went, so if this is plus, this would be, it went through. 0, multiplicity. So if this is negative, this would be, and the 6, multiplicity, and it does what? So plus. All right. The inequality says we're only looking for values that is greater than 0. So we are looking for all the ones that it says plus. Are we including our zeros? No. So we should only use what? Parentheses. Now let's start from from the left to the right. It starts at -infinity. It does not include our zeros, so we have to stop at negative 5, parentheses, and negative 5 to negative 1. And this is pretty long. 0 to 6. And 6 to infinity. We have to include it all. Because we cannot include the zeros. Any questions? Ain't so y'all getting good on this one, right?
I didn't get to it. Hey, I'm gonna watch. I know how to do it. I'm gonna watch the video back.
Yes, please. And subscribe below.
Oh yeah, I will. At your credit. What was that?
Huh?
On the right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Infinity. Next. Let's name all our zeros. Excellent. 0, negative 7, and 4. Then we have to put it in order. Negative 7, 0, and 4. What is the degree of this polynomial? 4. That tells me that the degree is, all right, and the leading coefficient. Excellent. Because that negative 3x times a positive is a negative.
What does the coefficient do for the graph?
It tells me what the right side does. Now, because this degree is 4, whatever the right side does, the left side does. All right. So, but we have a negative. We have a negative leading coefficient. So both sides is going down. I'm going down. Oh, sorry. I break out in songs sometimes. And when we go to negative 7, the multiplicity is
1.
all right. So if this is negative, this would be excellent. When we go to 0, the multiplicity is 2. So if this is positive, this would be positive. Excellent. And then at 4, it is negative. All right. The inequality is asking for values that are excellent, greater than or equal to 0. So we are including zeros. There you go. We're talking about brackets. Starting at negative 7 to 4. Why do we not stop at 0? That's right. Bing, bing, bing. Spirit fingers. Okay, next. I did. Oh, okay. Ooh, this one is good. Ooh, look, this one look fun, don't it? Number 14. Don't it look fun? All right, let's get our zeros first. We have zeros at 0, negative 8, 5, and 1. I'm just gonna. She just gave me a good joke. All right, now we're back. So, like we never left. Hi again. All right, now we're back at it. So we have a 0, a -8, a +5, and a 1. We put it on the number line, -8, 0, 1, and then 5. Now, what is the degree? 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah. What?
I don't know. They into them slangs. All right. Now, since the degree is 8, we know that the degree is even. Now, leading coefficient is, so that tells me that the ends will go up. Now, let's go through multiplicity. -8, the multiplicity is 2. So it does what? Bounce with me now. Bounce with me. The 0, the multiplicity is, so it does what? Like the water hose. So if this is plus, this will be, for 1, the multiplicity is, so it does what? Bounce with me, bounce. So if this is negative, this will be negative because it bounced. And then for the +5, it was just a multiplicity of 1, so it went to 1. Now, the inequality is asking for the values that are less than or equal to 0. So we're dealing with negatives and zeros, so we're going to have what? Brackets. Okay, what's the answer? 0, 5. And I said I'm including zeros. Including zeros. One number.
Oh, -8.
Bow, bow, bow. Yes. -8. Because we including zeros, so we got to include it where it bounced right here. All right. Any questions? Wasn't that fun?
If we have a question like this on our exam and we forget one of the intervals, but they just count the whole thing wrong.
Yeah. You forget one of the intervals.
Oh.
You forget one of the intervals. So yeah, we're gonna make sure we get every single part of the interval. Okay? And they will mark it wrong about the brackets and parentheses as well. They don't play. Next. These are easy because we were just doing this. Wasn't we?
No.
We was just doing this. All we need to know is all the real zeros and the multiplicities. So, we have 0x 3 with a multiplicity of 4. MULT. Let me erase it. I'm trying to. Okay. Okay. 3 with the multiplicity MULT period equal to 4. All right. We also have -2. See what we're doing? The same thing we just did, but less work. Of 1. -2 multiplicity equal 1. Also, we have 1 with the multiplicity 1. That's all we doing here. Bada bing, bada boom. Any questions on that? Next, we have what zeros? 0 with a multiplicity of 1. -3 with a multiplicity of 1. And 2 with the multiplicity of 3. With the multiplicity of 3. Easy. Breezy.
So you get to like 20?
Yeah.
Oh, oh, they make you factor. Ain't that cute?
Yeah. Like, I tried. Then
You cheated.
I actually did it. Okay, well, 21, 21,
For 17, we got zeros at 0 with the multiplicity of, I'm going to put just M, y'all, of 2. We have -2 with the multiplicity of 3. Is that everyone understanding where we get the multiplicities from? All right, and we have 6 with the multiplicity of 2. All right. Any questions on that one? Next one, we have zeros at 0 with the multiplicity of 3. We also have a 0 at -7 with the multiplicity of 2. And +3 with a multiplicity of 1. Any questions? All right. See, this is what all right. And this is the reason why we are not basing things off of its opposite. We're not just changing the signs to get those zeros, y'all. We are having these factors equal to 0. have these factors equal to 0.
Got it.
All right, y'all got me? Okay. All right, so we have our first factor. We have x squared minus 9. We had to equal it to 0. I need to get the x by itself. Move the what?
Oh, never mind.
I need to get the x by itself. What do I move?
9.
The 9. The 9 is negative. How do I move it? Add 9 to both sides. Yes? Sure. Now we have x squared equal 9. I need to get my x by itself. What's the last step? Square root it. And when we square root it, we get 2 values, which is plus and minus 3. Positive and negative 3.
X2, you mean X is 3?
Hmm?
Oh, plus or minus, yeah.
Well, the square root of 9. That means what two numbers multiply? What number can I multiply by itself to give me 9? I could say positive 3 times positive 3 is 9, and I could say negative 3 times negative 3 is 9.
Okay.
So I got positive and negative 3, and for this, I need to do what? Factor it. In order for me to factor it, I need two numbers that will multiply to give me 9 and add together to give me 6. X plus 3 squared or x plus 3, x plus 3. Mm-hmm.
No, I just have 5 on it. I actually have 5.
So because we have x plus 3 squared, oh, we still got it at negative 3. All right. All right. So we got to name all of our zeros. We have a 0 at positive 3, negative 3 on this one. We have a 0 at negative 3 on this one. All right, so let's do the multiplicities. We only talk about positive 3 and negative 3. So for positive 3, how many positive 3's do we have? 1. So positive 3 with the multiplicity equal to 1. And how about the negative 3's? 3. So negative 3 with a multiplicity of 3. You would have to factor 2 times on the next one. Oh, and the difference is a square. Mm-hmm. That's just the last part I told you I had to go through. Y'all got to be able to factor those without it actually already being factored to you. And there will be a part where you have to actually factor it even with the A value being more than 1. All right. Okay, so let's first see what we could do to break this entire thing up for 20. All right. So we got the negative 2x here. We could split x squared minus 4. That is the differences of square. Two numbers that would multiply to give you 4, and then if it's added together, that would cancel out. Positive 2 and negative 2. Differences of square. So that is x plus 2
Wait, what?
two numbers that will multiply to give you negative 4, and also would cancel out the middle term, positive 2 and negative 2.
Why
So,
did you do
hmm?
that? So why did you do that?
Write it like this.
Like, why are you looking for,
Oh, x squared minus 4. I have to factor this out. X squared minus 4 is the same thing as x plus 2, x minus 2. Because when I do the distributive property, that gives me x squared plus 4, minus 4. X times x is x squared. 2 times x is 2x.
oh, you're doing that to take the square away from x?
Hmm?
Like, the reason you're doing that right there is to take the square away from x, right?
No. I'm doing it because if I do the differences of square, it actually equals x squared minus 4. So x times x is x squared, right? X times negative 2 is negative 2x. Two times x is positive 2x. And 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Combining like terms, that positive 2x and the negative 2x cancels out and only leaves x squared minus 4, which is the differences of square.
Oh, so you're breaking it down?
Mm-hmm.
So we're breaking it down so you put it on the graph. Or the line, I mean.
We're breaking down that factor. We're actually factoring it. We're trying to break it down even more. Isn't it fun, Jonathan?
So funny.
Yay.
Love it.
Everyone loves math. All right. So we got the differences of square there. Now we got x squared minus 4x plus 4. Whenever you factor in, you need to find two numbers that will multiply to give you the c value and add together to give you this b value. What two numbers? Look first for 4. That is my c value. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Also, negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4. Two numbers that add, multiply to give me 4 and add together to give me negative 4. That's negative 2 and negative 2. So, negative 2 and, yeah, negative 2. Yeah. So that would be x minus 2, x minus 2. And we got to factor this last one, two numbers that multiply to give you negative 8 and add together to give you negative 2. What two numbers multiply together to give you negative 8? 2 times what kind of 4? 2 times negative 4. All right. So can I add these values together to give me negative 2? Yes. So I'm going to have x plus 2 and x minus 4. Yes, but you better miss the fun part.
You're gonna miss all the math and you're pissed. With the flip. Come on, man.
Public schools.
You got 7 zeros.
But we could combine some of this stuff, right? Because,
You got a little right.
hmm?
Combine them and make them like multiplicity of however much you use.
Yes.
So like them 3 negative 2s.
1, 2, 3.
1 negative positive 2 would make x equal.
We got 2 positive 2s.
That's yeah, that's not bad. 2 positive 2s and then negative 2.
So we could do this as negative 2x times x plus 2 to the excellent, because we have 2 of those, times x minus 2 to the, how many x minus 2s do we have? 1, 2, 3.
I said that. I just don't listen.
And the last one, we have x minus 4. Now, we can actually answer. What zeros do we have?
0.
0 with the multiplicity of 1. Excellent. We also have what would this be? If I set it equal to 0?
Oh.
Negative 2.
Okay. I thought it was already flipped. Okay, never mind.
Negative 2 with the multiplicity of 2. Excellent. Excellent. Positive 2 with the multiplicity of 3. And one more. Excellent. Positive 4 with the multiplicity of 1.
That's why I'm trying to do.
Just let it flow. Let it flow.
Let it flow. Can't go back anymore. That was my movie. I was Elsa. All right.
No way.
Next, we're on 21. Well, I stopped the fun. I got a lot of jokes in class. I like this one. Don't this one look fun? That's right. If I like it, you better look. Now, look at this. What can we pull out of all of these terms? What can we pull out of all of these terms? Them 1, 2, 3. What's the same in all of these terms? An X. I'll pull out that X.
Oh, yeah. Leslie said first. Let's,
I did what?
what's your
You
full
said you
company
could
name
pull
again?
up X.
Leslie
What's your
Gutierrez.
What?
not gonna reveal my full government name on YouTube. Let's send it to your ass.
You get so fun, Mackenzie.
No, she's back in time just for time.
Oh, this is the fun one, Mackenzie.
The fun
Don't worry.
one.
X squared minus, if we pull out an x, we have x squared minus
3x
3x
minus 10.
minus 10.
Alright. I guess.
But what will we still need to do with that? Factor it. Two numbers to multiply to give you negative 10 and add together to give you negative 3. Negative 5 and positive 2.
Are we doing like a worksheet on this?
Oh, this is the worksheet. What, y'all need the extra practice on this?
Is that what that's about?
Yeah. But I could do another worksheet on it.
No, it's straight. He's got I just have to figure it out.
X minus 5 and x plus 2. Now, this we could factor two numbers to multiply to give us 10 and add together to give us 7. Excellent. Positive 5 and positive 2. All right. And let's combine some of these so we can get the multiplicities. We have x, and we have x minus 5. But the x plus 2, we could change that to what? X plus 2 squared. Because there are 2 of them. All right, and we still have that x plus 5. Now I need to get my zeros. I have zeros at 0 with the multiplicity of 1. I also have a 0 at 5 with the multiplicity of 1. I also have a 0 at negative 5 with the multiplicity of 1. And the last one, negative 2 with the multiplicity of 2. Yes? Sure. But you're going to miss the fun part.
I'll be back in time, hopefully.
I say before you, Jonathan. Alrighty. Don't this look fun, y'all? Don't this one look fun? I said don't look. What can I pull out of each of these terms? An X. Excellent.
Right, so the factor, one of them has to have no X.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're looking for?
Yes.
So they all have X, we have to pull X out.
Yes. So since we pulled that X out, what do we have left?
X is equal
X squared plus X minus 12. All right, what can we pull out of this? X squared. Y'all see that? X squared, pull out the X squared. If I pull out,
Students, please excuse this caution. I would like you to remember that you must have a visible and current parking tag to park your car on campus. This is your final notice that parking will begin being enforced immediately. Thank you.
I was glad it wasn't told.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like, they could have really told it and it was sitting right there.
Ooh.
They couldn't get past. Let's go for it.
I can't see my car.
They had green slip in my windshield wiper. For no reason. Yeah.
And y'all had to pay $50 for that, didn't you?
I already had first pass.
Oh.
I got it earlier. And it's next year, I guess.
If I pull out that X squared, what do I have left?
X squared and 9.
Mhm. Yep, minus 9. Now, let's start. Oh wait. Before I start combining, I need a factor. Two numbers that will multiply to give me negative 12, add together to give me 1. Negative 3 and positive 4. Two numbers to multiply to give me negative 12, but add together to give me positive 1. A negative 3 and a positive 4. All right, and the x squared minus 9, that is from the differences of x minus 3, x plus 3. That is called the differences of squares. X squared minus 9. Remember we did that whole problem out, so I showed you that we could reduce that, we could cancel out that middle term. That is the differences of square. I know that positive 3 and negative 3 equal negative 9. And I know that positive 3 and negative 3 would give me 0. So that is differences of square of x plus 3 and x minus 3. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, and I still got to bring, this x with this x squared that we pulled out. That would give me x to the third. Y'all see that? That x with that x squared makes this x to the third. This x right here that we pulled out and that x squared we pulled out makes that x to the third right here. Now let's get our zeros. We got zeros at 0 with the multiplicity of 3. All right, how many, what else do we have? Positive 3 with the multiplicity of 1. 1. Oh, my fault. My fault. Yeah, you right. Ooh. And now oops. My fault. positive 3 with a multiplicity of 2. I was just trying to see if you was paying attention.
Ah, damn. I can't let Tommy seem smart.
And we have negative 3 with a multiplicity of 1. And what?
It's my fault.
You said who?
-4.
There you go. Negative 4 with a multiplicity of 1. Wasn't that fun?
Yup. So fun, it should wrap up the day.
But is that all?
Yes, 4.
Is that all? Is that all? Does we not have time for more? No, we don't have time. All right. Please subscribe below.
Hit the bell.
The little bell.
Like the video.
The bell. What's it?
Notifications.
Wait. I'm sorry. Thumbtack.
Thumbnail.
Thumbnail. Can you say thumbtack?
Thumbtack.